Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and with me today is Batman,
Hello.
and we are going to be playing some DC heroes. Before we get into that, though, make sure you hit that like button, check to see if you're still subscribed, ring the bell for notifications, and as always, leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys, and we've got a great community here, and it's all thanks to you. Thank you so much for being here. So, all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to this one is that a large bat creature is seen flying around in the night sky over Gotham City. So, people assume this is Batman, and he attacks some people at a company called Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. So, a new police officer named Harvey Bullock decides to bring in Batman. He thinks Batman is a problem. Um, Chief O'Hara says no, Batman is an ally of the city. So Bullock goes over his head to the mayor. The mayor says he will allow Bullock to have this task force to bring in the bat. And so that is the setup for this one. So, as the game actually begins, then we get into the main plot. Batman. You are, of course, Dick Grayson. You're the Silver Age Batman. Going into the Bronze Age now, actually. Um, Something that has changed now, starting with this game session, is this is the first time we see you in your new headquarters. Because like we, have spoken in the past, your Robin recently lost his life at the hands of the Joker. He was the son of the Golden Age Batman and his wife, who was Catwoman. So they are talking about getting a divorce now. Things at Wayne Manor are very messy. It's kind of uncomfortable for you to be around. Batman, of course, Bruce Wayne, that is, thinks that you did the best you could and would stick up for you. Catwoman, though, always has a little bit of that dark side to her. So she blames Dick Grayson for the death of her son, and she's unhappy and moving out, and you know. So starting here, Dick, you have a expansive headquarters on the very top of the Wayne Enterprises building. So it's a skyscraper. And the highest part of the building is still pretty huge. It's probably more than one floor. I don't think I have a map for it or anything like that, but just looking at the art from the comics in the 1970s, it looks huge. The inside of it kind of reminds me of like the Technodrome from Ninja Turtles, with like really big rooms with metal walls covered in like circuits and stuff like that. So, so you hear that, people think that this bat creature is you. What do you want to do?
Uh, I want to go out looking for it, see what's going on.
Okay. Um, is there any place in specific you want to search for it?
Has it been seen more than one time?
So far, just once at the pharmaceutical company. Did I
Hmm.
say it was called I think it's called Phoenix Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I guess I'll start there.
Okay. Um, so I'll assume you leave through the top of the building. Um,
Hmm.
you can make your way across town. It is such a hassle in the 70s because this is like right before they got to the part where he has a grapple gun. So this is still the old fashioned, like, throw a rope, swing from the rope. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but you make your way to this place, and when you get there, you'll be, let's say, on the roof of the next building over, right? So
Hmm.
there's a wide street between you and the building that you are interested in investigating. There will be two police cars parked. Uh, it's curbside parking, in front of parking meters. They are both
Hmm.
parked close to the entrance of the building with lights out and everything like that.
I'm gonna check the night sky and see if I see the bat or not.
Do you want to use some binoculars or something like that?
Sure.
All right. I won't charge you an Omni gadget for that. It just seems like such a common mundane item that Batman would probably have in his utility belt, probably those like really tiny fold out ones. Um, so you do that, you reach in a pouch and pull out what I will say is like a yellow pair of binoculars that you
Hmm.
are scanning around with. Give me a roll and let's see what you get.
Double nines,
Really?
a 7 and a 6.
That's a pretty good roll.
31.
Jeez. Amazingly enough, um, despite the fact that Man Bat is not a light source, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't it's like he is dark brown fur and dark blue pants against a dark night sky. And I'm also going to say, without, sounding too much like Captain Planet, in the 1970s, I imagine the skies over Gotham are just like smog, like
Yeah.
24/7. You know what I mean? The idea of cleaning that up hasn't really happened yet. So I think you are like peak crappy visibility. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
despite this, somehow you managed to see it. And it's not close to this building. It's actually in a different part of town.
I'll start heading that way.
Okay. So it is faster than you are. Um, and it goes to a different pharmaceutical company, which I will just call Beta Pharmaceuticals, I guess. So when you get there, again, I'll say you get to the point where you're on a rooftop of an adjoining building. Um, you see across the street. You it's not using any light. Like if whatever room it's in, it doesn't turn on the lights when it enters a room. Um, do you want to look through windows and stuff and try to see it? Do you want to just head over to that roof? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to try to get into the building it's in.
Okay, so we'll say I won't make you roll or anything because again, it's just such common stuff for Batman to do. Like if you were some novice hero and this was your first night out, I would absolutely make you roll to see if you just fall to your death.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say Batman, gets over onto this other roof, and uh, I used to be a security guard at different places, and we never locked the doors on the roof. So I'm going to say you just can walk right in, no problem.
Hmm.
Once you're in the building, what are you doing?
I'm gonna listen out to hear if like Man Bat's making a bunch of noise.
Um, Give me another roll.
All right.
And what is your intelligence? Is it like 12 or something?
Y- I rolled a 11.
Right, but what is your actual attribute? What is your intelligence attribute?
It is a 12.
12, okay. And you rolled an 11. That's pretty good. So I will say you can hear it. It is in a room where they keep a bunch of chemicals, not really pills, but like when mom used to work at a pharmacy, I don't know how familiar you were with what she did. They would kind of sometimes keep the stuff that you had to put into like the capsules, where they had to like assemble the capsules there sometimes.
Hmm.
That's kind of the stuff he's messing with, is he's like measuring out like powder. So like when you walk in, um, which by the way, are you doing anything special like as you walk into this room or anything, or
I'd like
you,
to try to like do like a sneak check or something
sure,
to
the
see what's
stealth
going
skill?
on.
That should be in the 9 to 10 range. So go ahead and give me a roll for that.
6.
So it will whip its head over at you, and its giant ears will like twitch a little bit, you know?
Hmm.
And it's scary, man. It's kind of like a werewolf with bat wings, right? And it's huge. It's like 7 feet tall. Um, it has like basically from like the belly button area down, he didn't really grow any. He just got hairier.
Hmm.
But above that, like his rib cage is like way wider now. His pecs are like way wider to like flap his arm wing things, right? So he's super intimidating actually. And he looks at you quick, so he knows you're there.
Can I try to stand
Let's
perfectly still?
if you want, let's roll initiative though.
All right. I go on 37.
Oh, I can't touch that. All right. I won't even bother rolling.
Really?
My base initiative is 21.
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Funny.
Okay, so you're faster. What do you want to do?
I want to try to trying to think. How did I enter the room? Is it like stairs or just a hallway?
I was imagining there were probably some stairs earlier, and then you like I'm almost thinking of this in a way like a school
Hmm.
with like linoleum floors in the hallways, um, that would be polished and stuff like that. A lot of the uh things separating the actually no, I guess it wouldn't be glass yet. This is a little early for that kind of architecturally.
Hmm.
Let's say the walls are sort of like green brick walls, right? Because this is so
Hmm.
early. You don't even have 70s stuff yet. So this would be like built in the 60s. So we'll say it's like green brick, kind of like over at the mall, uh, in the Richland Mall, how they have the kind of turquoise colored brick there. We'll
Hmm.
say the walls are like that. Um, and it'll be big heavy metal doors. And by the way, the one into this room, it looks like he just shouldered it down.
Hmm.
Um, do you want me to describe? And all the lights are out. He hasn't turned a single light on.
Hmm. Can I sub an Omni gadget for a like a fake mouse? Like they would like squeak and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. Um, sort of like I mean, yeah, that's fine.
I want to see if I
You,
can trick Man-Bat into thinking it was just a super loud mouse.
interesting. Um, so we need to give this mouse some properties.
Hmm.
Like, do you want it to be like, let's call it a robot,
Hmm.
okay? Let's say, do we want to give it like IQ of 1? Because all the numbers have to add up to 10. That's the bottom
Yeah.
line. So, okay, so IQ 1, if it moves, it needs a dexterity.
Uh-huh. How
The
dexterous
dex
would a
1,
mouse be?
what's
All
that?
right. I didn't know.
Well, and we don't even need to worry about a real mouse's, based on what you're saying, we don't need to worry about how agile an actual mouse is, right?
Hmm.
It just needs to sound like a mouse, I guess, or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So let's say Dex 1, Strength 1, Body 1.
Yeah.
Actually, we can get away with Strength 0. Because I've seen small animals with that.
Maybe like an
Okay.
actor skill or something of 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out is however many points we have left, you put into that actor skill. So if it's we got 3 points, so I think I'm thinking if I need anything else. So I think you've got 7 points left to put into actor.
Hmm.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
I also love that apparently in our universe, Batman just keeps robot mice in his pocket.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I
that's
mean,
cool. He he
maybe it works.
he probably has encounters where people are trying to sick you know tigers or something like that on him, some kind of dangerous cat.
Hmm.
There are in the 60s there would have been 3 new Catwoman women show up on the scene, so I guess one of them could have done that. At any rate,
Hmm.
it's just a funny thought.
Yeah. And if he
So
does constantly knock something over and use the mouse trick at like an
so
old dockyard.
Manbat has an IQ of 5. So let me move this so that I can get to the actual GM screen here. So the mouse is 7 versus a 5 means it needs a 9 or better to fool him.
Hmm. So then I
So go
roll.
ahead. Go ahead and roll
All
2d10.
right. 15.
Jeez, you actually get some column shifts there. Okay.
A really good
Um,
mouse.
that's pretty weird. Um, I'm looking at something here. He has nothing that tells me he has bad eyesight. He has no like physical restriction or anything like that on his character sheet.
Hmm.
So, so I think you just walk into this room and he just looks over and he sees you perfectly well. And what it looks like is that you just gently set a live mouse on the floor in front of him. So like he's convinced it was a real mouse, but he still knows Batman is the one that put it there.
Oh,
So
yeah,
so
it's my turn.
sneaking is a dice action. Um Using an Omni gadget is an automatic action. The actor skill thing came out of the gadget's turn, if that makes sense. That actually
Hmm.
didn't count against you. So you still have an automatic action left if you care to use it.
I guess going under the assumption that I still think Man Bat didn't see me, I like try to gently step back into the doorway and let the
Okay.
mouse do its thing.
Squeak, 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 squeak. Um, that's great.
It's Man Bat's turn
Okay, on Manbat's turn, he's just going to tackle you.
already.
So it's his 8 versus your 9. So he needs a 13 or better to hit. Let's see. I roll a 6 and a 4, so 10. So I miss. So Manbat lunges at you, not making contact. I guess as you are stealthily backing out of the door, you must go around the side of it, and he just lunges into the hallway, and he's got kind of a lot of leathery skin. So I imagine him sliding on the polished floors I was describing earlier, making like a
Hmm.
squeaking sound.
A different squeaking sound.
Yes.
Uh,
So that
alright.
was his turn. Oh well, and then his other automatic action is I guess he'll get up. And he's basically acting like a werewolf. So he's, making aggressive sounds. He's got an aggressive posture, that kind of thing.
Was I able to get any sense out of that lunge of like him jacking me up if he hits me?
Well, I think give me an IQ roll real quick.
All right. Ooh, 3.
No. Sorry. Yeah, you have
That's
no idea.
luck of the dice. All right.
Yeah. And also, like, he can see better in the dark actually than you can.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, as far as what you have seen him do so far, it's like not great. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Um,
Yeah, I was taking a 50-50 on it not being able to see.
I understand. Like the whole blind is a bat thing. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I'm using the second edition Batman source book, and they didn't say anything about him having blindness or anything like that. So I tend to go with whatever the RPG stuff says.
Mm-hmm.
So um so at any rate, the IQ check, by the way, didn't count against your thing.
Cool.
What do you want to do? It's your
Uh,
turn.
uh, guess I'm gonna try subbing a second Omni gadget for some sort of like tranquilizer.
Sure. Knockout gas is a thing, or if you want it to be more liquid based, I mean, at the end of the day, we can just call it EV.
Mm-hmm.
EV is of course, the generic thing every Omni gadget has, just that represents how potent it is at whatever it does.
Mm-hmm.
So does you want this to be like a dart or something you throw at him with the weapon skill?
Uh,
That way you don't need to waste an Omni gadget on like a dart launcher, or, you know what I mean?
yeah, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do if I wanted it to be liquid or gas. Because if it's gas, I think I can still breathe it in and knock myself out.
Yeah, you could.
Uh,
He might do like a wing buffet and blow it right back at you, you know?
mhm.
I shouldn't be telling you that. That's bad GMing on my part,
Yeah.
but it's true. Yeah, if you go gas, he has some ways around that.
Yeah. If I do liquid though, it needs to get through his leathery skin or something. Let's see. In terms of the numbers there, do I have to put stuff into it being like sharp enough to enter his system? Like if it's like a needle sort of thing?
Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Hmm. I think I'd go with a like a glass vial of gas.
And I mean, if you want it to be more potent, you can always use two Omni gadgets.
Hmm.
So you can say, for instance, one gadget is just a syringe with like the claws power at level 10.
Hmm.
And then you could say the second gadget is the fluid in the syringe and it has sleep 10, that kind of thing.
Hmm. I'm trying to think what would fight that uh, number wise. Would that be attacking his body or like his mind?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on the nature of the gadget. Like if it's a dart, it would be a contest of like your weaponry skill or something versus his dexterity.
Hmm.
Um, that kind of thing. If you made it like, it just depends. if you decided the gadget was more like, because this isn't too long after the '60s Batman. So I mean, it could be something wacky. Like you could pull out like a ray gun with like a black and white hypnotic swirly thing on the end that turns, you know what I mean? And then that would attack
Mm-hmm.
like his intelligence and mind attribute. You know what I mean? There's different
Mm-hmm.
ways you could do it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll do the two gadgets then. A The syringe with, is there a better
Juice.
than claws, or is claws the best thing for that?
I mean, we can call it EV with gadgets. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of their stuff, like uh, like with a lot of their gadgets, they will like a motorcycle will have the running power. You know what I mean? Even though running is a
Mm-hmm.
power designed for a person with legs, they still kind of use that terminology all the time.
Interesting.
Um, so like by that logic, you would think that a sword would have the claws power, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. They just give it like an EV of 4.
Huh.
So, and likewise, guns you would think would have like projectile weapons or something, but they'll have like an EV of 5 or 6 or whatever, depending on the gun. Um, so it's fine to just say EV is the point. You know what I mean?
Cool. See, one gadget for the like needle and the other gadget for the liquid
Sure.
with
Okay, so
Fluke 10, I
is
guess.
this something like do you want to go up and jab him with it or do you want to throw it at him?
Go up and jab. I want to do a grapple check or whatever.
Sure. Uh, so you need to give me a 9 or better.
All right. 13.
All right. You do it and it works, actually. That seems a little anticlimactic, but that's how the rules work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's your 10 versus his body of 6. And so let me look at the table here. 10 versus 6. And then you had one column shift. So that's exactly 6 points of damage. So actually, had you not gotten the column shift, he would have been woozy but still awake.
Hmm.
But the column shift is exactly what you need. So he is at 0 right now.
And with him waking up, is that the sort of thing where uh, he's like slowly regenerating health then?
Yeah, I their rules on how long it takes to wake up are nebulous.
Hmm.
Um, so I just kind of go like he doesn't have regeneration on his
Mm-hmm.
character sheet like someone like Wolverine would. But I just kind of go with if we were watching like a movie or a cartoon or something, like how long do I feel like it takes before the characters in the movie usually wake up?
Mm-hmm.
And I take that guesstimate then and I apply it to the game.
All right.
So he's out. Now you've got your next problem is this guy
How much does
weighs
he
like a
weigh?
ton, yeah.
Ah.
And yeah, so it's like he weighs a lot and then like where are you taking him and how do you get him there? And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The computer also just gave me the 10-minute thing. We got 10 minutes left in our recording time.
Mm-hmm. I want to get him back to the lab in the Wayne Enterprises building
Well,
to
let me
see what's
ask you a
going on.
question. Why do you want to do that? I'm not telling you not to, but
Mm-hmm.
why do you want to do that?
To see if it's like some sort of thing, like whether the Riddler is making Batman, or is this a person that did it to themselves? Is it a random
So you
monster? Do I have to fight more man bats?
well, what I was going to throw you a bone and say the irony is there's equipment here you could use. Like what you want to do there, you could actually probably do here on the spot.
Can I do an IQ check with the powder he was measuring out?
Sure. Give me a roll.
Please be high. 4. Man.
It's some sort of a common thing used in a lot of different medicines. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, in real life, I am the worst person at the world in the world when it comes to like medical stuff.
Mhm.
The irony is out of our family with your mom having worked in pharmacies and your sister going into nursing and stuff. Like, yeah, I really wish one of them was playing Batgirl or something right about now. But let's
Mhm.
just say generically, I think it's called a base.
Mm.
But there's kind of like the filler crap in medicine. So since your roll was so low, I'll say that's what this was, is something mundane that's not really much of a clue.
Yeah.
Do you want to search the area?
Yeah.
Okay, give me another IQ check, basically. Or
Please be
actually,
high.
your detective skill. What's your detective skill at?
My detective skill is 12.
Okay, so that, yeah, which is the same as your IQ. Go ahead and give me a roll.
So double sevens
All right,
and a 1 and a 9. So was that 24?
that is quite a bit. Okay, so he was doing that when you walked in on him, but he already measured out other stuff.
Hmm.
And based on the other stuff that he was going to steal from this place, it looks like an attempt at an antidote.
Hmm. Can I try to whip it up or whatever and give it to it?
Sure. Uh, do you want to do anything, by the way, like quote unquote push the attack or something like that?
Sure. And then I'd also like to like write down whatever he was taking in case it's something where like Wayne Tech can make a deal if this is a person who needs the medicine.
Sure, that's awesome. Um, go ahead and give me a roll. You need to get over an 11 to push an attack.
Come on. 9.
Okay. So unfortunately, your skill is going to stay the same. Um, and I think this would technically fall under gadgetry. That the just sort of like the thing you were doing earlier, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, for that matter, actually, you know what? You could just summon Omni Gadget for this. You could
For
just
like
sub an Omni
administering it.
Gadget for, let's say, Systemic Antidote 10.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd like to do that then. Is the Omni gadget that does this for me.
And I mean, and we can say you're basing it on his thing that, you know, you whip up the chemicals. So in this case, instead of the Omni gadgets you have access to in the course of any given adventure being things that come out of your belt, this could be something you just build on the spot, you know,
Mhm.
in the form of a serum or whatever. So sure. Let me take a look at his character sheet here to see if it tells me basically like the severity of the thing.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm thinking the opposing number is 8. So it'd be your 10 versus an 8. So you just need to give me a 9 or better for this to work.
All right.
And we're now friendly thing, 5 minutes left in the video.
I rolled a 10.
All right. So that means it works actually. So
And can
um
I if it's like take a minute, can I like have a bat camera to prove that man bat was a thing?
yeah, sure. You can just record this.
Cool, because I would
So
like to prove to people that I wasn't the one flying around attacking people.
right. Okay. So we'll say you set up a little bat tripod with some kind of bat I can't remember what those things were called they used back in the day, kind of the precursor to the camcorder, but you
Mhm.
film this and then you give him the serum and he will revert back into a guy named Kirk Langstrom.
Mhm.
And since you tranked him, he's out. Especially now that he has a body
Mhm.
of two, this guy is sleeping all night.
That's cool. Maybe I can get him back to the thing now, since he weighs as much as a dude.
Sure. And we'll just say that's kind of we'll go into epilogue territory here, I guess. Um, so the epilogue will be that you're back at your headquarters on top of Wayne Enterprises or whatever.
Hmm.
And once you're here, you'll have kind of like an operating table kind of thing. Not that you do surgery, but I have seen it in the comics where,
Hmm.
Batman will, whatever, be patching himself up after a fight or, whatever. Um, and it does have restraints on it, so you can strap him down if you feel the need to.
Hmm.
Is that something you want to do or not really?
I'll leave him free. I feel like it's better to wake up not strapped to a table.
Sure. So when he finally comes to the next morning, and I'm going to assume you're still wearing, the outfit and everything, right? You're not
Yeah.
doing anything, weird. Uh, also, like, beware of him finding out he's in like the Wayne building. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but at any rate, he'll wake up and he'll basically tell you, yeah, ironically, he's sort of like a fan of yours, and he kind of wanted to do what you do, and so he took more of kind of like an almost Ninja Turtles approach to becoming bat-like.
Hmm.
But it went wrong, and it's basically what you hear with like every werewolf story ever.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a handle on it and so on and so forth, and he's sorry for breaking into these places. He just couldn't afford the expensive chemicals that he would need to cure himself, so he's very grateful to you and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
um so is there anything else you wanted to do, or do we just want to leave it at that?
I guess pretty much that. I'll just like let him know if he needs like medicine and stuff. I can get him some.
Okay. Well, we'll say that he gives you his phone number so you can check up on him sort
Hmm.
of from week to week and make sure he's got the meds and everything's cool.
All right.
All right. Well, so I think I'm going to call it quits there. Partially because of our limits on how long we're allowed to record. So we got 1 minute left. I want to just thank everybody for listening. If you enjoyed hearing us play, we would love it if you took time to smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell, and leave us a comment. From all of us here at the longest running superhero RPG on Earth, we hope all you guys have a good one, and we will see you in the next adventure. Bye.
Bye.